Have you ever sat alone at night, staring at the ceiling and asked yourself, am I really saved? I'm not talking about church attendance, reciting a prayer, or simply knowing the right answers. I mean the kind of salvation that grabs your soul, turns it inside out, and makes you new. If the thought even flickers across your heart, then this message is for you. Let's go straight to the words of Jesus. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Matthew 7:21. Now pause. Let that sink in. Jesus is speaking at the end of what we call the Sermon on the Mount, the most famous sermon ever preached. And this moment, this verse, is not soft. It's not comfortable. It cuts. He's warning people who thought they were saved, people who called him Lord, people who had confidence, and he says, not everyone. This isn't a verse meant to provoke doubt. It's meant to provoke truth. Because eternal life isn't a game. Heaven is not the reward for performance. But salvation is not just about claiming a name. It's about a transformed life doing the will of the Father. So the question is, are you doing His will? And not out of fear, not to earn points, but because your heart has been changed. Let's break this down. Jesus says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter. That repetition, Lord, Lord, is important. In Jewish tradition, repeating a name meant urgency, emotion, even intimacy. These people aren't distant strangers. These are people who claim to know Him well. They call Him Master. They claim relationship. But here's the truth. Saying Lord doesn't make Jesus your Lord. Words don't equal surrender. You can cry Lord while clinging to the throne of your own heart. Jesus goes further, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. This is the mark. This is the fruit. This is the evidence. Doing the will of the Father, not perfectly, not without struggle, but persistently, authentically, from a heart that has been regenerated by grace. Don't miss what Jesus is doing here. He's not calling for religious performance. He's calling for obedience that flows from relationship, a changed heart, a submitted will, a life not centered on you, but on Him. Let me ask you, when was the last time your decisions were filtered through the will of the Father? When you made a hard choice, did you say, not my will, but yours be done? Is your life marked by a hunger for holiness, a thirst for righteousness, a deep desire to know Jesus more? Because salvation isn't a box you check, it's a cross you carry. Now I know, this is heavy, and maybe you're feeling uneasy. That's not a bad thing. That's the mercy of God inviting you to go deeper. Some of you were told once, just pray this prayer and you're saved. So you repeated some words, but nothing changed. You went back to your life, back to your habits, back to your control, and now you wonder, was I ever really saved? True salvation produces obedience, not just a moment, but a movement, not just an event, but a new existence. You were dead, and now you're alive. So, again I ask, are you saved? Not, did you walk an aisle? Not, did you get emotional at camp? Not, did you grow up in a Christian home? Are you walking in the will of the Father? Is your heart surrendered? Has grace changed you? Jesus didn't say, the one who goes to church every Sunday will enter the kingdom. He said, he who does the will of my Father. That means daily surrender. That means letting go of sin, even the secret ones. That means loving the unlovable, forgiving the unforgivable, trusting Him when everything in you wants control. This is not about perfection. This is about direction. Which way is your heart facing? Who has the steering wheel of your life? If today you feel the Spirit convicting you, do not harden your heart. Today can be your turning point, not by your power, but by surrendering to His. Let go of the false assurance. Let go of the games. Let go of just calling Him Lord with your mouth while denying Him with your life. Fall at His feet. Confess your need. Ask Him to make you new. And then walk daily, faithfully, trustingly. Not to earn salvation, but but because you've been given it. There is no greater tragedy than thinking you're saved when you're not, but there is no greater miracle than realizing your need and finding grace. So I ask again, are you saved? Don't leave that question unanswered, because Jesus doesn't want your lip service. He wants your life.